Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to the stream. My name is Clint. I teach producers how to make money with their music by showing them how to produce, prepare, and pitch placement-ready music for TV. And I have a lot of fun doing it like I do every week. We are back for another episode of the Music is My Business podcast / live Q&A / basically us just hanging out with each other once again this week. Shout out to everybody who's in the stream. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know what you do. I'm excited to answer some questions about music production and business and licensing and all that good stuff. Shout out to my Sync Producer Hub members in the building. They're in the member only chat. Shout out to y'all. If you guys have questions at any point, you can raise your hand if you want to be pulled up on audio or video, or you can just drop it in the chat. For my people on YouTube, you can just drop it in the chat. But if you want that exclusive VIP experience, highly recommend joining Sync Producer Hub. I'm just saying, you might want to be surrounded around other like-minded individuals every day of the week, not just Friday. But let me see what we got in the building, man. We got Ray Garcia. What's good, Ray? We got G-Fi in the building. Rodolfo in the building. Brandon, what's up? Justin P's back in the building. DJ Finesse, what's good? We got Veteran Beats. I see you. Who we got? Damick Beats, what's good? Justin says yes, join the hub. So we definitely got to get into some wins. Let's start this off by sharing some. I feel like, let me get a little bit closer. I feel like I'm far away. Dub Willer's in the building. Let's go. So some wins. Let's go through some wins in the community. Let's see. I think, we talked about that one. Joe's actually a newer Sync Producer Hub member. And he has a recent win. It's not necessarily quote unquote sync win, but this is what he said. Hey team, not necessarily a sync win, but wanted to share it nonetheless. In the region I live in here in the UK, a local radio station runs a yearly awards show to celebrate up and coming musicians in all of the East Anglia region. This particular radio station has supported my music a lot this year and nominated me for Best Male Solo Artist, which I didn't think I'd win, if I'm being honest. Oh, how wrong I was. And then he shared a link to his this Instagram reel of him getting this award. So shout out to Joe. Joe also shared some music with us last week on the live music reviews, and it was fire. So yeah, shout out to Joe. And I think he wasn't Joe one of the top ones that for the music reviews? I think he was like one of the top three
that night. So super dope. He says eternally grateful, of course, but I was particularly impressed with the production value of the whole event, especially the fact it's all to celebrate up and coming musicians like myself. Again, where this isn't necessarily a sync win, but hopefully I start securing some soon. Actively pitching and crafting more music as we speak. I love it. Action takers are money makers, man. He's taking action. So that's super dope. We got the McEastlands in the Philippines. What's up? We got Mick Sound Better from France in the building. I see you. Michael Connors in the building. Jamont Reese, what's good? Hub member in the building. Tapping in from LA is LV Drizzle. I'm on the iPad, but I'm gonna watch on the TV. Let's go. Come on, portability. So yeah. So shout out to Joe. We got some other wins. Hold on though. The wins have been winning this week. Carl got an equipment upgrade. Like, it's not a sync win, but listen, a win is a win. After 10 long months of saving, all I had was a full-time job and the desire to learn another DAW and Logic and Pro Tools. 5,000 smackaroos, my new laptop. So shout out to Carl, man. Got a new laptop. Listen, I don't care, man. That's a win because you know how it is when you dealing with, like, you just working with what you have to work with and it is slowing you down. And you know, like, man, if I can just upgrade this hardware and move faster, I could probably output more and really get to it. So Carl's about to get to it because, listen, I know that new MacBook Pro that thing is about to treat him right. I don't even know if Carl has posted inside of the community since he got that laptop. Like, I'm sure he's just been in full work mode. So shout out to Carl, man. Got a new laptop. Let's get it. And then we got another win from James McGregor. He says 2 other libraries are now TuneEdge. So roughly 3 weeks ago, a library accepted my album on That Pitch. Woke up to 10 That Pitch emails saying 2 other libraries accepted all 5 songs on my album. And last week I submitted a full song to TuneEdge, really not knowing what would transpire. Will I receive some TuneEdge emails today as well? The first email stating congratulations, I now have access for brief opportunities, and the other email states I have a contract waiting for me to sign. Just looked at the contract and it's crazy long. I'll take these wins, but this is just motivation to grind even harder. I know them placements are coming for the end of this year. Keep going, people. Stay dedicated to your routine. Discipline is the key, and trust the process, people. That's a fact. We talked about discipline. What was that, like a few weeks ago, man? And just how crucial it is to, like, everything you do. Sync is no different. A lot of times, man, producers, they want the placements, they want the licensing deals, but they lack the discipline to stick with it long enough and go through, like, the boring phase, like the phase of doing a bunch of metadata, the phase of reaching out to a bunch of companies, the phase of the different revisions and stuff that you have to do. Like, so many people want to skip that stuff, but if you discipline yourself and just stick to it and just wake up and do it, just do it no matter what, eventually you got to run into something. Like, something has to pop off. It's really hard to, like, put in work consistently and not see any results from it. So shout out to James, huge win. Yeah, I'm excited. And then shout out to like the producers inside the Sync Producer Hub, because, like, nothing has gotten placed yet, but I dropped an exclusive opportunity in there, and, like, everybody crushed it. And, like, I sent a massive playlist of everybody's submissions to a brief, and yeah, like, a lot of people are starting to hear back. So, like, shout out to everybody who's been hearing back from that brief. And I'm looking forward to just everybody just starting to talk about the placements that are going to come in from that. I think that's just going to be super exciting for the community, and everybody just, like, it's probably going to be like multiple of you guys like on the same episodes of some of these shows. So I'm excited about that. Like, I feel like this is going to be dope. So let's get to the questions, man. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. For the new people joining in the Sync Producer Hub link, if you want to come up on audio or video, raise your hand. I'll bring you up. So yeah, Miguel says I got contacted by the company you sent the brief from. Let's go, Miguel. Come on, man. Y'all just out here winning. So yeah, DJ Finesse just got a song in 3 libraries. Come on, man. Let's go. Wins in the chat. We winning in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. Action takers are money makers. Metadata is the worst part of the job, like by far. Like, I mean, that just has to be the worst. G5, indeed, man. Appreciate you guys. Clint, you're gonna end up being our publicist. No, right? Oh, and then Kel Keys come in. Kel Keys texted me earlier this week about another placement we got. It's just been win. This has just been win week. That's what we gonna label this week. Win week. Yeah, I woke up to like text and he's like, "Yo, we got another one." What you said? I think he said it was like in Germany or something, some German show. That's wild. Like, it's just wild to me. Like, you can literally be anywhere in the world and your music you just end up around the world overnight. It seems like. It's like a Netflix show. It was a German Netflix reality show. Called Fight for Paradise. Was that the name of the show, Kels? So yeah, so that was a win. That was absolutely a win. So let's ask some questions. Where are you guys stuck in sync? Because we want y'all to have some wins too. How can we get you to the wins? That's what we're trying to do. Yeah, Fight for Paradise. I just pulled it up. Right here. It's on Netflix. Oh, it's new too. Because on IMDb it says it came out like 2024. So dope. That's DJ horn. It's a DJ horn for us, Kels. All right. I'm new. Talk about copyright. Do I assume we don't need to copyright? Of course, there's a cost. Copyright. Copyright is that thing, man, in sync, where I think you will find more often than not, the people who are creating a lot of music for sync don't really take a bunch of time and money copywriting every little thing. I know me personally, I usually don't worry about it. I haven't had any issues due to not registering the copyright with, copyright.gov. Because honestly, the amount of music that we pump out, it would probably get very, very expensive unless you did a collection. But then the weird thing about that is, it depends, like, depending on what your publishing deal looks like, you probably don't even need to do that anyway. So yeah, me personally, I don't even stress about it. Now, I do sort of take a different approach. Like if I'm working with artists, like on an artist project, that stuff, I'll probably go ahead, copyright. And then both indie and major. Absolutely. Like if I'm creating something and we're like pitching that to a major artist, and that's something we'll probably go ahead and knock out just to, weird things happen. But yeah. Yes, and I do know you can do a collection of works at once to save some money. The catch to that is that you have to, like, the writers have to be exactly the same for each work in that collection. So say if you collaborated with a few different writers across different tracks in that collection, you probably wouldn't be able to do it unless they changed it. But I know the last time I checked, it had to be, each and every track, it had to be the exact same writers. So if it's all you for instrumental stuff, you can absolutely bundle a bunch of instrumentals, which I've done before, like in the early years. So yeah, I let the publishers, do stuff, and I just create it and ship it off. DJ Finesse says, leave it to the library. Do you register it with your PRO or just leave it to the library? I leave that to the library as well, unless it is like a non-exclusive situation, pitching direct, which shoot, that just reminded me, I got some stuff I need to register, but like pitching to directly to a music supervisor, I'll go ahead and register that stuff. But if it's like exclusive for a library or a publisher, then they do that for us, so we don't have to worry about it. And then I'll go in and like double check, because sometimes they mess stuff up. They'll, it may be a wrong writer, co-writer added or not added, or they just get your name wrong somehow. So you kind of got to like double check sometimes. So yeah, that's how I approach it. Good question. I heard the poor man copyright was ineffective in court, was what I heard. Word around town. So I don't know. If the track's called Cool Guy, and I mean, again, it's like, if it came down to it, I feel like a session with like a creation date, and you start looking into the metadata of the files and like when things were created, and like you can literally see the MIDI the MIDI information. Like, I'll sit in court and replay this whole track for you if I need to show you I created this. So, I feel like if anybody's gonna steal, like, if they're stealing, then they're probably not creative, and they probably can't create or replay what you created. So shoot, I listen. I bring this Mac, MIDI keyboards and everything. We'll set up a mini studio in court, and I'll reproduce this whole track to prove that it's mine. That would be hilarious. We need to see that. They need to broadcast that like they did O.J. Simpson's case. You can definitely create metadata that's timestamped on your DAW. Boom. Like, I feel like, I mean, shoot, that should, you would think. So, yeah. Let's see. Poor man's copyright. Could you explain it for those that may? So poor man's copyright. It was something that was like definitely floating around like some years back, where the concept is you put your music on CD or a thumb drive or some type of media where it can be listened to. You package it up, you seal it, and you mail it to yourself, but you don't open it. And I guess the theory is, since it's not opened and it has like, a USPS seal on it or something, like I don't know, like, I guess it's government property, I don't know. I really don't understand how it would. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but that's the gist of it. Pretty much taking something, sealing it up, mailing it to yourself, and never opening it. And then if something came up, you would bring this unopened package, because it would have a date from going through the postal service. So, and then you could say, hey, I mailed this to myself, check it out. But I don't know how strong that holds up or not. But that's the concept. Do music soups take tracks based on popularity on Spotify, Apple Music in regards to registering, releasing music? You know what? I don't know. Like, I think if it's something popular, it could gain visibility. And then, it may be cool for them to use. But I think the first mission of a music supervisor is always to pick music that, fits the scene and tells the story. And then everything else I feel like is like a plus or a bonus, in my opinion. I forget, track naming matters, right? Obviously not beat 47, but not random stuff either, right? We're sort of providing a hint with the title. Yeah, Justin, that's how I approach it. I like to hint with the title. So yeah. But now I have sync friends that, like, they got creative and got random with some names just for fun, and it still got play. So, you never know. But yeah, for the most part, something that'll kind of hint to what it's gonna sound like. So if someone uses it, you will have the copyright, but you wouldn't get damages. I.e., is it better to let library music suit register, release it for you? Oh, so the only time I release music, like on streaming networks, is number one, if the library is not doing it, which a lot of publishers are, especially the big exclusive publishers. They're releasing albums for streaming and collecting that on your behalf as well. But if they're not, especially for like the non-exclusive stuff, then that stuff I'll upload on streaming services. Because like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, there's a song that it got placed on like Love Is Blind, Love Island, and I seen the stream shot of like 200% in a week, just from being used on a show. So, if it's something that's not up there and it's like, it's out there working, I would ask the publisher, like, hey, I'm not sure if you guys upload. Is it okay if I upload it on streaming and, do that? Some of them be like, yeah, for sure, do whatever. We don't have anything to do with that. Some of them be like, well, we actually upload it anyway, and then we forward any income from that to you. So yeah. So yeah. Lamar Franklin, what's up? Said, I believe it kind of timestamps your ownership of the contents. Yes, I heard courts don't recognize poor man's copyright. Yeah. Larry Bradshaw says poor man's copyright was a threat back in the 80s, especially if your stuff was on cassette. Man. Would you use Machine Micro 3 with Logic Drum Designer as a controller? You know what, WR Keys? I wish I would have explored that before I got rid of my machine, because I probably would have did that. I got so excited. Like I don't know. I went through a phase where it's just like I wanted to go back to like a minimal production setup. I didn't like having to move and like turn. So I was just like, you know what? I want to go back to just having the keyboard right in front of me and doing everything on the keyboard. So I just sold it. I was like, I don't want it. I don't need it anymore. But drum machine designer has been dope. I've been using that for all of my drums inside of Logic. But I do wish I would have tried to play around with that to see how that works just as a controller. But you know what I do want though that I may get one day is the pads, drum pads, like the what do you call it? What is it? The SPDX or something. Roland has one, Alessis has one, or Elise's, however you want to say it. I may get one of those because I was working on a brief and it was like, what was I doing? What was the style? It was on like some funk, some like 70s funk vibes and disco funk, and I was playing a live drum set on a keyboard, and it was awkward. I didn't like the experience being a drummer, and I don't necessarily want to buy a drum kit and put it down here. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe, I don't. So I was just like, maybe I'll get one of those the pads. You know, it has like 6 or 9 pads or something. I think it's 9 because you got some at the top and then you got some other ones, and they're big and you can use drumsticks with them, so I can get the feel of real drums when I have to produce like real drums without wanting to play real drums, and then get like a pedal trigger with it. Because if I would have had that, like I would have been set. Like I made it work, but it could have been better. Especially with like hi-hat stuff. I was just like, bro, this is like a real drummer would call me out on that stuff. So let me see. If an artist takes 2 words from lyrics of a popular song, can that be submitted? Example, artist says move B as a reference to Ludacris, if that makes sense. If they say it like just like Ludacris said it, I wouldn't do it. Like if you say it exactly where it sounds like basically like a sample, like yeah, they probably gonna try and publishers won't like it. They're gonna be like, yeah, you gotta take that out. Like we said, we recently did a song that we're working on for a production album, and we mentioned a rapper's name. Like the rapper mentioned a rapper's name in one of the verses, and they were like, yeah, like y'all gotta pull that out, swap it out. We don't want to mention anybody's name, brands. Like they just want to stay as far away from other brands, other people, other copyrights, like lyrics as much as possible. So I wouldn't do it. Do you think it's a good strategy to find music supervisors on LinkedIn? Absolutely. I think that's probably one of the best places to find them, because you can easily search like music supervision companies on LinkedIn. Sometimes you can use the hashtag music supervisor like on Instagram too and come across some. But yeah, I like LinkedIn for that. That's how I've found a couple. Yeah, definitely a good resource for that. Outputs arcade samples allowed in sync. Yes, as long as you're creating like new original melodies with the sounds within arcade. What's good? Y'all got some good questions today. If an artist has TuneCore Songtrust Pub as admin, can that still be used for a one stop? That gets tricky because it TuneCore, yeah, that can get tricky because since they're your pub admin, you can't take, okay, let's say we have song 1, right? And we want to pitch that song to another production music library. They want to sign it. If you already registered that with TuneCore or Songtrust, you can't sign that track to another publisher, because the whole purpose of a publisher is to, to admin the publishing and exploit it and collect on your behalf and do all the things and sign off for you on certain things. They won't be able to do that if there's already a pub admin like Songtrust or TuneCore in place. Because when they go through and you submit your song to TuneCore or Songtrust, they're going to register that song with your PRO, with them and their companies, their entities listed as publishers, so that they can collect the publisher share of royalties for you. But then when you send that to another publishing company, they're going to want to do the same, but they can't, especially if it's exclusive. So that's going to tie you down to, either you can pitch that song on your own independently, possibly through an agent who doesn't take any publisher share or anything like that. That's going to be your route, if those songs are registered with Songtrust or TuneCore. And then if that's the case, like if you're pitching directly to a music supervisor or you got an agent, then you can always forward, like, if anything needs to be sorted out publishing wise, then they could reach out to a Songtrust or a TuneCore or whatever. But me personally, I don't recommend it for the things that you're trying to submit to other publishers. I like to have those tracks separate and make sure they're like free and clear to be registered with whatever publisher they end up getting signed with. And also make sure, like, I'm not sure what the TuneCore situation looks like. I know what Songtrust looks like because I have some stuff with them. But make sure like TuneCore is not like tying you down to where like that pub admin is for you as a writer, period, and making sure it's only like on a per song basis. Because you don't want to, well, I can't tell you what you want to do, but I know me personally, I wouldn't want to be tied down to where everything had to go through TuneCore, for stuff to get cleared and all of that. I still want to be able to work with as many publishers as I want. So just something to look into and double check. G5 said he sold his MK3 as well. I wasn't using it. Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, man. Pads, yeah, I feel you. Lady Low, what's up, Lady Low? I agree. Listen, trying to program some drums on weighted keys is evil. Like that should never be done. Like you will break your fingers trying to hit that kick. Oh man. I've experienced that personally, and I'm just like, bro, why does my hand hurt from like trying to do some 808s and snare rolls on some weighted 88 key piano? It's crazy. What are the most important points for an indie artist trying to get into sync, aside from having all songs with sync versions, variations, etc., everything normal for sync? This is the most important thing, Colin, and people drop the ball on this all the time. Follow instructions. That's the most important thing you can do. And you'll find if you can just follow instructions and just take your time, read the brief, read the emails, like when they're telling you, hey, this is how we want you to submit this to us. Just take your time, go through it, read it. And you'll find you don't have to have everything figured out in sync. because I didn't. But when I got my first placement, man, listen, I still had no clue what I was doing for real. But if you can just follow the directions at each step you're at, you'll find it makes it so much more easy. Because what the mistake that a lot of producers make when trying to break into sync is they want to sit down, they want to get over analytical, and they want to figure out all the steps before they start. They're like, okay, boom, I'm gonna use this to get my playlist. I'm gonna do this kind of music. Okay, now I need to research who will I reach out to. Well, if they hit me back and they do this, like, I need to have response A, B, and C for whatever situation. And then if I go this route, then I'm gonna go. They got a whole graph of just like possible outcomes that they probably won't even see. So instead of doing that, just take it one step at a time. First thing you need is music. Obviously, you already know that because you're talking about versions, variations. Boom, you got that. Next step, once you have the music, you know which lane you're kind of focused on. Pitching. Now you're just focusing on pitching. That's the next step. Everything's just about pitching until you get people to hit you back. Gather as much feedback as you can, and then after you pitch, somebody hits you back, they're going to give you the next set of instructions. Okay, we want to work with you. Do this. You just do that. And then once you start working with them, they're just literally going to feed you every step by step. And that's how it is. So if you're really good, or you can become good at following instructions, like, you're going to be like light years ahead of most people. Because most people just simply don't read or follow instructions. It's crazy. That again, shout out to the producers inside of Sync Producer Hub, because they followed directions. I gave them a brief. I was just like, hey, this is what they're looking for. Here are the reference. This is what you need to do to submit. And everybody followed instructions. So it's just like, those are the ones that win. And then after that, it's just all about doing that over and over and over and over again, just following directions. That's all sync is. It's a set of directions. So you start working with companies, you're working on the show, you send a version, they're going to send you feedback. That feedback is just directions. We want you to change this, and that. You just go through it step by step. That's it. Send that version, see what they think. That's it. Most important thing. And then everything else falls in the line. So yeah, speaking of Sync Producer Hub, we have opened it up. It's only for like 4 more days though, so y'all might not want to wait. But we opened it up for new members. So if you haven't joined, now is the time to join before we close doors again. The link is in the description, or you can go to syncproducerhub.com. Get inside this community. I literally threw all of my sync curriculum in there, all of my production, mixing, music, production business curriculum in there. So everything you need to get started and succeed is inside of Sync Producer Hub. And then you also have a community of other dope, like-minded producers who are on the same journey. And as you go through this, like, you have that support. When you have a question, and everybody's path is like slightly different. So you come across questions even after your first placement, first 10 placements, like, new questions just come up. So to have that resource there is super powerful. And you can cut down the time of, getting from point A to B way faster by having just a solid team and resources to help you. So yeah. What's up, Mari? What's going on? Clint, I'm a visual artist and produce music. I wanted to know your thoughts on if I should create separate social media profiles for showcasing my music and artwork, or have one profile. You know what? That's interesting. Because it's both art. You know what I would do, just because I like being creative sometimes? I would have it on one profile and I would showcase my art. I would showcase myself like making art, and then have my music playing in the background and just join those joints together. And it also gives you a variety of content, you know. You have some art. We're multifaceted. Like, we're not just one-dimensional human beings, right? So, somebody could see music, and then somebody could see art, and they could resonate with either one of those, and then draw them to the other, and it just all kind of works together. So I would just have it under one profile. And if you've ever tried growing a profile, try growing two. It's challenging. So I would just focus on one, build that, and just crush it with that. G5 has a question. Let's bring him up. Yo. Nothing much, man. How's it going?
I am GOOD. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm good.
I have a question regarding metadata.
Okay.
So I hear people say, okay, you need to add metadata. Like, I have Disco, and Disco automatically populates your track with metadata. Mm-hmm. Should we be adding more?
I don't think you need to. Like, as long as you're completing the information that Disco allows you to do, I think that covers you for the main things, right? Like your song title, writer information, BPM, genre, keywords. I mean, that's the main stuff they're looking for. And then if they need any more, or they want to get more specific, typically the publishers either sending you some type of spreadsheet, or you're, uploading the way that they want you to upload it. So yeah, that should definitely cover you.
Okay. Yeah, I hear people talk about it a lot, and I'm thinking, like, should I add more than what I already have? I mean, sometimes I do go in if it doesn't tag certain things accurately. Like, if for the most part it's accurate, but if I want to add something that it didn't include, I'll add that. But I was curious if I should be adding more.
Yeah. So. No, I think you're doing it right. You should be fine.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yep. All right. Thank you, sir.
No problem, man. Peace.
Peace.
Good old metadata. All right. Let me see. Let me find my. Okay. You guys have any issues with Logic Pro 11 update? I don't know. That's probably the root of like all the issues I've been having for the past 2 weeks. I need to check and see if I even updated. It's been a while. I had posted in the community, like my contact was like half open. Like, I couldn't see the top controls or any, and I couldn't even move it. So I had to just shut Logic down, and then it worked. So yeah, I haven't updated. If anybody else is having Logic Pro issues, feel free to chime in. Is it harder to get music sync with samples from companies like TrackLib or Music with Samples? 100% is harder to get it synced. This is almost impossible. And like, unless they're like, we're looking for music with samples, we just don't do it, because it just creates so many headaches. Like, it has created so many headaches that publishers are now like adding in their contracts, and you have to like check it or like initial. All the music I created is original music, and it contains no samples from sites like blah 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 blah. So yeah, we just stay away from them. Tapping back in with the question: have you ever did a sports cue without horns, and how did you still bring that sports vibe? Yes, dude. LV Drizzle. I'm working on an entire album of sports music, and they told me I cannot use horns or strings or any orchestral elements, because they're trying to stay, I guess, within the budget, and they don't want to hire, like, they do high quality stuff, and they don't want to hire like an orchestra. So I'm like, bruh, this is about to be the challenge of the year, man, because that's my entire template. It's horns and strings. So yes, it's possible. I've done it so far with with like 4 tracks. This is how I do it. I had to get creative. So when I think about like brass, right? Why do I like brass for sports? I like it because it's gritty. It's like it's harsh, and I don't know. It's just something about the frequency that just it's punchy. So I was just like, let me find a synth, and like just a very strong synth with like, you know, enough body to where it doesn't sound like thin, but it sounds as full and harsh, I guess. I don't know, explaining this stuff is weird, but as harsh as like a brass sound. And then what I did was I threw like a bunch of distortion on it. So I just been throwing distortion on synth sounds to give it the effect or harshness that I feel like a brass would have. And then I just play that sound like I would play brass stabs or something like that. So the synth has to have like a fast attack, has to be punchy, and something with like a quick, it's not like a long delay, you know what I mean? So just something stabby, punchy, and that's what I use to kind of replace my brass. Strings a little bit easier. I'll just use pads or something like that, to have something soft and legato-ish, and yeah. So that's what I've been doing, man. Synths, punchy synths with distortion and just some fun pads and stuff like that. But man, do I enjoy it? It's a different question. It's like, man, y'all putting me in, man. But that's what I love about sync though, because it like, you never know what somebody's gonna come up with to challenge you. And like, I just felt like, all right, it's another challenge. I got to figure out how to create intense, driving, sports, impactful music without brass and strings. So it's been fun. Once it's done, I'll have to share a link or something with y'all once they get everything uploaded and out there. Let's see. Lamar Franklin says, Clint, with all due respect to your producer's hub, could it be effective for someone to go through your Road to 10 placements and then contract your counseling services afterwards? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But now the Road to 10 placements is inside Sync Producer Hub now. So we got Road to 10 placements in there, how to structure instrumentals, urban mixing made simple, vocal mixing made simple, some additional resources, pitch tactics, Sync Producer Growth Pack, and like these different courses unlock at like different levels. So as you level up inside the community, you get access to that. But there's been plenty of producers, even inside the hub, who have taken Road to 10 placements previously, and then joined Sync Producer Hub for the ongoing support. There's producers who've gone through TV Placement Mastery and then joined Sync Producer Hub for that ongoing support. So whatever works for you. And then shoot, I mean, there's been producers who, when I used to do one-on-one consultations, they would just take that consultation, run with that, and next time I talked to them, like they were sitting on placements. So, it's like whatever works, but like everybody's at different places, man. So whatever works for you. Say if an agent takes the 5 songs you submitted, how long should you wait before you send them more music? Oh man, I would say there's no hard rule on that, especially if they took it. Usually if I'm like in the process of like getting some tracks onboarded with the company, I let them kind of do that first and see how, just how the workflow is with them first. And then after we get that out and it's done, then that's when, I'll reach back out, or unless they hit me up with like another brief. Sometimes that happens too. Like I have companies where, stuff is just like in the air. Like you'll submit, and then boom, you're like on to the next brief. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what's going on. DJ Finesse is weighted keys. It's crazy. I recall buying a FATAR motherboard, proper full weighted keys, and ended up playing Hammond organ on it through a synth module at a convention. Yo, organ and weighted keys is just an abomination. It should never be done. Oh man, like I don't even know how like that. Yeah, man. Wow, the things you go through in life. Miguel says I'm staying fire. Goal is level 7 and stay long term. Yeah, so if you make it to level 7 inside of Sync Producer Hub, your membership is literally free forever after that. And well, unless you like, if you leave and then come back, then I think you'll have to start over. I gotta check on that. Like if your level, I think your level remains, but then if you like leave and then come back, I think it like restarts. But yeah, if you hit level 7, the membership's on me. You're in there for free forever after that. Sync Producer Hub is the one, peeps. Highly recommended. Appreciate that, Michael. I think Disco does a great job of auto tagging your tracks. I believe there's a way you can create templates for uploading. Check their tutorial vids. Somebody actually asked me about that yesterday, because it was like auto tagging weird things, and I don't even know. I don't think I enabled that feature on mine. Like I've been working too hard over here on Disco and didn't even know it. But yeah, I was just like, man, I feel like it should be a way to create templates in there, but I wasn't sure. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, exactly, G5. No horns or strings. I was just like, man, like, I mean, that's what this is built around. It was funny. I fooled a few peeps who thought my strings were live. Yeah, like all of us on the live music reviews. I find it harder to do a sports track with horns and strings. It's difficult trying not to duplicate what's already been produced. That's true. I see where you're coming from there, Larry. Just dropping it. And yeah, like it can definitely be done, it can be done. It's kind of, that was just my template, man. It was my favorite template. Been using that since the beginning. Like literally my first TV placement was brass and strings on NFL Network. So that was it. I was like, I got that. I was like, okay, this is what I'll use for the rest of my life. Was my AI vocal question answered? I had to log off for a minute. I think I might have missed it. Feel free to drop it again. I'll try and catch it. Love has limits. What's up? What's the best tablet for Logic Pro iOS in your opinion? And what are the best sound libraries to invest in? Best at Logic Pro iOS. iPad. I would say, because I had the, what was it, 12.9 or something iPad Pro. I had the biggest iPad Pro. When it comes to like producing on Logic Pro for iPad, I think that was the best experience with the bigger screen. But then I went and got the smaller iPad because the thing is easier to hold, man. I like the big one when you want to use it as a tablet. It's low key awkward. Like I was like, I was watching my wife because she had the same size as this one. I was like, you know what? I'm low key jealous because that looks comfortable in your hand. When I hold mine, like I have to hold it with two hands, and it just feels slightly massive. So if you don't care about using it as a tablet and just want to hold it with one hand and like, you know, just kind of quickly do tablet things, then, you know, I would say like I think the is this a dent? Bro, these kids, man, they tear my stuff up. It's out of control. But I say like the biggest iPad Pro is the best because you get more screen space on Logic. It works on here. Like I use Logic on here as well, and it's not bad, but you know, it is what it is. Like it's mobile. And then obviously you can always just go to your main workstation to, you know, work if you want a bigger screen, or you can also hook up an external monitor to the iPad, and then boom, you can have a smaller one, still use it as a tablet that doesn't make your hand hurt, and then just hook it up to a monitor if you just want to, you know, you're on the go, you're traveling, but still want that Logic experience on the iPad. That's probably how I would roll. So yeah. Yep. Oh, here we go. Miguel's question. I'll answer this one and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. AI generated vocals from my own recorded voice. Can I use it for vocal chops for sync? That's been up in, if it's your own vocal, that's been up in the air, man. It's been up in the air. There's some really dope plugins. And I have to do some more research on like the terms for some of these companies, but somebody had told me there's some dope ones where like you could take your voice, you could sing, you write the lyrics and all that stuff, which I think I feel like it would be fine, but I'll tell you the reason why in a second. But you can like change it. Say if you need like a female vocalist, right? Like I obviously don't sound like a female, but if I wanted a female vocal, but I just wanted to hurry up, write it, get that quick turnaround, send it off, like they have some, you know, some dope software plugins and things like that where it can turn into a female voice and it sounds dope. The weird part is I just have to research the terms, and if it's like, how do you credit that? Do they want credit? Because if that's somebody's voice that they're licensing, like, is there, you know, what do you say on the track? Like, do you say this song is by the AI artist voice or something? Or like, do you just call it yours, but it's not really you because now it sounds like a girl, like, or a man? So it's like, it just gets weird, man. I don't know, man. AI, we're just in a weird place where like, don't nobody know anything and the law hasn't caught up yet. So nobody knows what to do with it. So I don't know. I don't even have an answer for you. This is where we are. So, but I don't, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah. All right. So that's it, man. This was great. I honestly want to sit and answer more questions, but we got live music reviews coming up right after this. So if you're on the YouTube channel, stick around. We're going to see if these producers' music is ready for TV and film. So that's going to be fun. Last week was crazy. The week before that was crazy. I don't know what they're going to try and pull this week. So we got to see. So shout out to everybody, man. Thank you guys for asking the questions. Thank you for coming through. Again, the link to join Sync Producer Hub is in the description, but access shuts down September 24th. So don't wait too long. Don't procrastinate, because again, action takers are money makers. So let's get these placements, y'all. All right. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.